What's happening, everybody? Ryan Thomas here live on Friday night. It has been a hectic time for me this month of December. The holiday, obviously Christmas is coming. We are 5 days away from Christmas, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas because I don't know when the next time will be that I will be on the audio side of things on my podcast from now until, after Christmas. So if you don't hear from me, if you don't hear my voice, audio on the air on the Thomas Take Sports podcast as you are right now, and you can tune into this podcast live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Actually, it won't be live. It'll be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify after the fact as well. You will be able to check it out on Twitter at Ryan Thomas Take. You can follow me on there as well as Instagram at Ryan Thomas Take as well. It has been a hell of a journey for me. 2019, my name, I think, has grown in and of itself beyond the Thomas Take Sports podcast, which is really cool. And working with the guys at Trainwreck Sports has been a phenomenal experience so far, and I only expect it to continue. I mean, these guys have been great. There's just plenty of room to always grow, plenty of room to always reach for the stars and reach for new levels of greatness. So that's how I see that. A lot of amazing things coming up in 2020 that I can't really dive into just yet, but I'm telling you guys, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm just getting started. Each year I say that. Each year I, rather than walking through the door, I knock the door down. So I'm going to continue to do that. It is a chip on my shoulder mentality that I've had in every walk of my life, whether it's the podcast game, the sports entertainment game, sports that I played, work environments. I'm a bull in a china shop, and I love it. I love to take over. Just talking about it fires me up and puts the hair on my arms, upward. So all that being said, let's get to the sports topic of tonight. The sports topic that you might tune into tomorrow morning, Saturday morning before this game on Saturday afternoon, 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. The Buffalo Bills. What is now tomorrow afternoon, but, if you're listening to this tomorrow, you get the point. Saturday at 4:30, Buffalo Bills play the most prime time game of the week, in my opinion. Saturday, 4:30, the Bills take on the New England Patriots in Foxborough. And it's no secret, this rivalry, and that's what it has been, is a rivalry. A lot of people will dispute that. A lot of people will debate me on that, but this has been a rivalry. And it all started back when the New England Patriots were playing a game against the New York Jets. And I say that for a few reasons. Drew Bledsoe, rolling to his right, gets knocked out of bounds by Mo Lewis, hit out of bounds, and in comes Tom Brady. He leads the Patriots to the AFC Championship game. He gets hurt prior to that. Drew Bledsoe comes back in for the AFC Championship game and leads the Patriots to victory as the backup to Tom Brady. And the Patriots go to a Super Bowl against the Rams as heavy underdogs. Brady gets the start. They win the Super Bowl off of an Adam Vinatieri field goal. And Drew Bledsoe is then let go by the New England Patriots. And he is then signed or actually not let go, the Patriots traded Drew Bledsoe to the Buffalo Bills. That's what started this rivalry. And for all the people that say that this isn't a rivalry because the Patriots have dominated this rivalry for the last 20 years, no, this is a rivalry. There has been a lot of contentious moments in games between the Bills and late hit on Trey White. In particular, the changing of the uniforms of Drew Bledsoe and Lori Malloy. In particular, the cold front defensive line, Mario Williams, Kyle Williams, Marcel Darius, Jerry Hughes, that dominant pass rush against the New England Patriots, that of the Buffalo Bills, formerly, 5-6 years ago now. Completely different time, but as the years have evolved, the Patriots have been the dominant force in this rivalry. But as we saw back in the early 90s, late 80s, the Buffalo Bills were the dominant force in the rivalry. There was a changing of the guard then, and there could quite possibly be a changing of the guard now. I have said it 100 times on this show, and I'll say it again. When you look and analyze the AFC East with the New England Patriots, with the Buffalo Bills, with the New York Jets, with the Miami Dolphins, you see 4 teams that are in 4 completely different situations. And you don't see that in any other division. 4 teams in 4 completely different situations. We'll start off with the obvious Miami. Miami is in a rebuild. The Jets, they have added pieces and players that teams would only dream of having. Guys like Le'Veon Bell and a quarterback like Sam Darnold. Maybe Darnold has some inefficiencies as a young quarterback in this league, or deficiencies, I should say. Maybe he's deficient in some areas, but for the most part, there's a lot of teams that would like to have him as their quarterback. Then you have the whole head coaching situation, or lack thereof, with Adam Gase. A lot of Jets fans question Adam Gase as a head coach. They question him, and they should. And then with the Buffalo Bills, you have a team that the last 3 years has built itself from the inside out, and we're seeing the results of that. 2 playoff berths in 3 seasons. Excuse me, 3 seasons. 3 seasons. And then the big bad New England Patriots. Tom Brady's 6 Super Bowl championships. Bill Belichick, it feels like Bill Belichick has coached in at least 20 Super Bowls. I'm over-exaggerating there, but you get the point. This dynasty is the greatest dynasty that the National Football League has ever seen, but it hasn't come without controversy. It hasn't come without someone kind of saying, what's going on there? Something's not right. Fool me once, fool me twice, you get the point. The New England Patriots. Now, it sounds so old school to throw the Patriots aside due to these cheating allegations that they have faced. But they have faced these cheating allegations time and time again over the years, and they're starting to become hard to ignore, frankly. Hard to ignore. And you really have to reassess how these games between the Patriots and Bills and Patriots versus anybody can be viewed with a concrete thought that these games are legitimate. These wins are legitimate. There's reason to think that. Now, will I say that the New England Patriots never deserve to have won Super Bowl because they're cheaters? No, that's silly. But are the Patriots willing to bend the rules to do whatever it takes to win? You bet your ass they are. We know that. They're looking to find any loophole, any rule that they could possibly bend, manipulate, poke, prod, and build into this facade that when it's discovered that they're doing these things, they defer, they deflect, they beg to differ. And it's getting to a point where, as a football fan, I just have to say that this is ridiculous. It's an embarrassment to the game. It's a joke to the fans of football, whether you're a Bills fan, a Patriots fan, a Saints fan, a Dolphins fan. I'm just spitballing here. It's an insult to the fans of football to let that stuff continue and to not throw the gavel down and lay down a huge lawful penalty that would cripple this franchise. Because this is not the first time. It's not the second time. It's not the third time. It's not the fourth time. This has happened more than 5 times. So something at the end of this season has to be done about that. And I want to start off the podcast by saying that. If you guys want to disagree with me, that's fine. It's my opinion. It's my show, my podcast. And I use this platform as a platform to throw my opinions out there for people to listen to. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people that are interested in my opinion because of this show and because of the way I lay things out. And as far as the Patriots go, that needs to be said. If I don't say it, no one will say it. If I don't say this, is that the NFL needs to throw down the gauntlet on the New England Patriots. Throw down the gauntlet. The death penalty punishment. Take every single draft pick away from this franchise in 2020 and have 31 teams draft in each round. This team should not have the ability to draft collegiate players this season. One season. Take all those picks away. You can't allow them to bring in young talent. They would have to extend the resources via free agency, which should be pretty easy for them to do, being that they are the New England Patriots, being that they do have Bill Belichick. They would probably still have Tom Brady, I guess, maybe. But who cares? That's not our problem. It's their problem. They put themselves in this position. They put themselves on an island all by themselves as the castaway of the NFL. So that's how I see that. As far as the game, we're going to dive into that, obviously. It's a 45-minute long show, but this game is everything. If you want to understand the hype that this game brings, this is an epic moment in the saga. This goes beyond Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. This goes beyond Star Wars The Last Jedi. This goes beyond Star Wars The Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace. This goes beyond the whole entire Star Wars saga. The Bills and Patriots rivalry is a saga in and of itself. For years, for decades, this rivalry was not. This rivalry was one-sided between the Bills and the Patriots, and it favored Buffalo. The Patriots were the also-rans of the NFL until they hired a guy named Bill Belichick and until they discovered a guy like Tom Brady. The Patriots franchise was minuscule in terms of their history of the within the National Football League. So, went to a couple Super Bowls with Bledsoe, Eason, got you. But, I mean, come on. Say that the Patriots had an illustrious franchise history would be silly. Would be a lie. So, these last 20 years is really the best, obviously the best parts of their franchise history. And for the last 20 years, it's probably the worst part of the franchise history for the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills have had a franchise history that started on a high with 2 straight AFL championships, with Jack Kemp, who was a phenomenal quarterback in the American Football League. The 70s with O.J. Simpson and the Electric Company, Joe DeLamielleure, the anchor of that offensive line. The 1980s, some mediocrity, which led to high draft picks, netting Buffalo guys like Bruce Smith, Andre Reed, and Frank Reich in one draft. Jim Kelly defecting to the USFL, going to Buffalo in 1986. Buffalo, piece by piece, brick by brick, led by Bill Polian, the general manager at the time, building the greatest dynasty that never was from 1983 to 1994. So, where does that leave us now? Obviously, if I go down the timeline, the Bledsoe years in New England, the Brady entrance into the National Football League, that's what really piped up this rivalry, and that's what it's always been, is because of Tom Brady. When you're playing the best that's ever played the game twice a season, that's pretty good math as to how the Buffalo Bills didn't make the playoffs for 17 years. Couldn't compete. couldn't hang with him. But back then, for those 17 years, the Buffalo Bills didn't have number 17, Josh Allen. Now, I have always been a public supporter of Josh Allen. When the Buffalo Bills were preparing for the 2018 NFL Draft, I really wanted this kid. I really did. I really wanted this guy. I thought he was the right fit for the team. Thought he was the right fit for the offense that they were hoping to run. And I really liked him. And there was just something about him that really struck me deep, struck a chord with me. I can't even really describe it. Just the way he carries himself is, I think, a sheer reflection of how Sean McDermott carries himself. And I thought that Sean McDermott and Josh Allen met up in a room, as well as Brandon Beane, that there's no way that Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott could let Josh Allen walk out of that room without thinking that they were going to take him. And they did. Not only did they take him, but I said things like Josh Allen would fit into the Buffalo Bills organization like a glove, and he has. Fast forward, we're in his second season. They're 10-4 with their second playoff berth in 3 seasons after not making the playoffs for 17 seasons prior. So this is newfound glory for the Buffalo Bills. This is a new hope, a new destiny, the rise of the Bills. The Bills are back. The ability for the Bills to find a way to win was one thing in and of itself for so many years. We wondered how the Bills were going to win or whether they were going to win. We don't have to wonder that anymore because the Bills have shown us how they can win games with a stingy, tough, durable, nasty defense, an extremely dynamic, strong quarterback mentally and physically in Josh Allen, a rookie running back that was the essential steal of the 2019 NFL Draft, and Devin Singletary for what he has done for this team. And also the additions of veterans that probably wouldn't have come to Buffalo, let's be honest, 3, 4, or 5 years ago. Guys like Cole Beasley and John Brown. Now, are Cole Beasley and John Brown the household names of the National Football League at receiver? No, they're not. But within that offense, with that quarterback throwing them the ball, they have been productive. And you can only just look at that and say, this is newfound glory. This is a different team. This is a different game. This game is the second matchup between the Bills and Patriots. And I got to tell you, a lot of things have changed from week 4 to week 15. That's 11 weeks out of a 16-week season. A lot of things have changed. The identity of this team is different. The motivation is different. The motive is different. Folks, I can tell you guys on this show the same things that a lot of other people could tell you on their shows. That the Buffalo Bills are going to win tomorrow. That the Buffalo Bills are going to dominate the New England Patriots tomorrow. That the Buffalo Bills are going to find a way to win. But I'm not going to do that. Because that, to me, is irrelevant, really. Because at 10-4, with Josh Allen leading the way on the offensive side of the ball, with the best Buffalo Bills defense that we've seen probably within the last 15 years, led by a coach that is the best Bills head coach since the days of Marv Levy and Sean McDermott, we are still playing for one dynamic that is oftentimes overlooked by most franchises because they don't have to worry about this. They don't have to worry about playing for respect. Playing for the respect of the media, the respect of all 31 teams in the National Football League, playing for the respect that they have for each other against a team that has absolutely no respect for the game of football. What better storyline could you write up than this one? What better tale of the tape could you draw up better than this one? In the red corner, you have the Buffalo Bills, the red, white, and blue Buffalo Bills, who have always been the circle the wagons franchise of the National Football League. Just when you think that they are down and out, they come back like they did against the Houston Oilers all those years ago, led by their backup quarterback, Frank Reich. Like they've done this year, heading into this season with a second-year quarterback in Josh Allen, where no one knew what to expect. We could only hope that Josh Allen would take that next step forward, and boy, did he ever. Like the Buffalo Bills of old that went from one Super Bowl loss to another Super Bowl loss to another Super Bowl loss to another Super Bowl loss. The bounce-back Bills. But now, the Bills have a chance to be something more than a bounce-back squad. They can be the heroes that the National Football League has wanted to take down the Patriots. The NFL needs a team that can do that. Can the Buffalo Bills do it tomorrow? Yes, they can. But as we dive into the game here, the X's and O's of the game, the Buffalo Bills have to do a lot of different things right, and they have zero room for error in this game. I would look at this game as if it has to be the most scientific display of gridiron football that I have ever seen. Every play has to be meticulously prepared, meticulously called, and played out with pure execution. Nothing more, nothing less. This can't be a game where mistakes are made. This can't be a game where there is penalties. This can't be a game where there is turnovers. This can't be a game where we hand Tom Brady the ball on successive 3-and-outs. If we do that with a 42-year-old Tom Brady who is not as good as he once was, who is the Kylo Ren in the story right now, not the Darth Vader, we desperately need to take advantage of this situation at hand. We have a young team on offense. We have a good mix of vets, young players, prime talent on the defensive side of the ball. The New England Patriots have a 42-year-old quarterback, receivers that either don't fit the offense or that are losing a step, no tight end to fear at all on this roster, and a defense that has shown a bend and sometimes break mentality. Yes, New England's defense has been really good this year. I can't say that they've broke at all, but against athletic quarterbacks, they have struggled. Lamar Jackson played very well against the New England Patriots to the tune of a 37-20 victory. Josh Allen can do that. He can play that game. He can go to that well if he wants to. But to me, in this game, I think you got to win 3 keys to victory. And these are the Thomas takeaway keys to victory. Number 1, win the time of possession battle. Drain that Patriots defense as much as you possibly can. Pound the football any which way. Frank Gore, Devin Singletary, Frank Gore. You get the point. Pound the football, especially early. Set the tone. Dictate the pace of the game. This is a heavyweight title fight. Move around the ring a little bit and catch them napping. That's how I see it. Number 2, no turnovers at all. Cannot have turnovers whatsoever. Maybe a cherry turnover. That's an old joke. But No turnovers whatsoever. Josh Allen has to be efficient. Josh Allen has to get the ball out of his hand quickly, just like he did against Pittsburgh last week. First half, boom, getting the ball out of his hand. Boom, looking to the receiver. Boom, getting it out. That's what we need to see. That's what we have to see. And last and certainly not least, the best unit on this team, the Buffalo Bills defense, has to pressure Tom Brady. But pressuring Tom Brady is one thing, getting to him is another. Nobody gets the ball out of their hand quicker than Tom Brady does. He'll get the ball out of his hand quick, but you got to play man-to-man on this New England Patriots offense. You got to have one guy on one man, another guy on another, and so on and so forth. They're not stretching the field against anybody. You don't have to worry about putting a safety over the top. You don't have to worry about any of that. This offense in New England is not that great. The talent around Tom Brady arguably is as worst as it's ever been. It is so bad. And along with the drops, along with the fact that Brady is a little older, Tom Brady was great 3 years ago. Tom Brady is good right now. Not great, but good. The scary part is if Tom Brady had more weapons, he would probably look like Tom Brady normally does. But he's shown some chinks in the armor without this great supporting cast, with the current supporting cast that he has. And Buffalo, again, has to take advantage of that. I know one thing, Sean McDermott will prepare this team as best as he can and have them ready, because week 4, that game was arguably a game that they should have won. It was at home. This one's in Foxborough. Tough territory, to say the least. It's not easy playing there. But the Bills have to make the most of it. They have to create opportunities on offense and completely shut down Tom Brady. I'm Ryan Thomas. It was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. That was my preview, my pregame on the Bills and the New England Patriots Week 15 battle. The Buffalo Bills are playing for respect